Addiction is not something someone can just turn on and off. It's a disease. According to WebMD, approximately 2/3 of the American population are affected by addiction within the home. Addiction does not only affect the addict, it affects the people around them as well. Alcoholism is not the only type of addiction there is. To support my argument, I would like to present facts about addiction, who it affects, and finally convince you all that addiction is in fact a disease. To start, it is necessary to have some background information on the topic at hand. The dictionary defines addiction as the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. Addiction is quite different than a habit. Medical News Today tells us the difference between an addiction and a habit is that addiction is a psychological or physical component. The person is unable to control the aspects of the addiction without help because of the mental or physical conditions involved. A habit is done by choice. The person with the habit can choose to stop and will subsequently stop successfully if they want to. The psychological or physical component is not an issue as it is with addiction. Another misunderstanding is that addiction is a weakness. Addiction and Recovery says that people who don't know about addiction will tell you that the addict just needs to be stronger to control their use. Well, if that was true, then only unsuccessful or unmotivated people would have an addiction. And yet 10% of high-functioning executives have an addiction. Taking all these facts into consideration, addicts are not the only ones affected by addiction. Discovery Fit and Health tells us that more than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism or a drug problem. Addiction can affect the health and well-being of the addict and the people around them. It is said that more than 9 million children live with a parent dependent on alcohol or illicit drugs. According to Hope Networks, children of addicted parents are more at risk of alcoholism and other drug abuse than other children are. Addiction also affects the community. Discovery Fit and Health also says that alcohol and drug abuse cost the American economy an estimated $276 billion per year in lost productivity, healthcare expenditures, crime, motor vehicle crashes, and other conditions. That being said, every American adult pays nearly $1,000 a year for damages of addiction. Taking all of this into consideration, you can start to see exactly why addiction is in fact a disease, and not just a habit or something that will go away. It is often mistakenly assumed that drug abusers lack moral principles or willpower, and that they could stop using drugs simply by choosing to change their behavior. There are several factors that contribute to certain people being more prone to addiction than others. Drugabuse.gov shows 3 different factors when it comes to addiction, and they say that no single factor can be taken into consideration by itself. Biology, environment, and development are the 3 factors. EnterHealth.com says that addiction is considered a brain disease because alcohol and drugs literally change the brain chemically, structurally, and functionally. These substances literally hijack the brain. This is why the addict cannot restrain themselves from using even if the desire to do so is there. Long-term alcohol or drug abuse also changes other brain chemical systems that control the ability to learn, remember, and to exercise control over their own behavior. Cravings and triggers are all a part of this disease, but so is brain damage. The first picture here is of a normal brain. The second picture here is one of an addict's brain. When an alcoholic is shown or even thinking about alcohol, their brain gets excited and glows, as it does here on this image. This is the exact reason why an addict cannot fight cravings. My hope today is that I have shown and proved you that addiction really is a disease. As you can see by the images here I have shown you, it is certainly not something someone would wish for themselves. I would also like to encourage you to take a look into your family history and see if you have noticed any problems with addiction in your family. As I mentioned earlier, the disease known as addiction can happen to anyone, even the 10% of high-functioning executives. All of this being said, addiction is an extremely wicked disease, and it's time that it's treated like one. Thank you.